Welcome back. Welcome back to you all to the weekend recap where I'm standing up instead of sitting down. Huge changes here. Almost 2 months of break to the day between this episode and the last. So let's see what past Adrian looks like and what 2 months of quarantining can do to a human, namely to their hair. Okay, could be worse, I guess, right? I hope you're well. I hope you've been staying healthy. Myself, I've been doing a lot of sanding and painting and renovating at our new place. Can't wait to move in there and film from the new studio and show you guys, well, I'm not going to do a house tour, but show you guys what the studio looks like in every single video, I guess. I also was doing another career mode series on my second channel, link in description. Released some of my favorite videos I've made so far on a team from Chernobyl and the Lisbon Lions. Those are both on this channel, of course. But enough about me. The Bundesliga is back, along with the K-League, which we will cover next week, perhaps. But this week, it's all about the Bundesliga. So let's continue with the weekend recap, or the Wochenende Rückblick, according to my man Dave in Germany. Let's go, Wochenende Rückblick. I said that flawlessly, no doubt. Let's get to it. Freiburg went away to the Red Bull Arena to take on Leipzig, having been one of the only teams to have defeated Leipzig this season. Last time they played, Freiburg won 2-1, and they caused just as many problems in this match this past weekend. Leipzig fielded an extremely strong side, with Sabitzer and Schick coming on later in the match, but they were held to a 1-1 draw by the visitors. Again, Freiburg takes some points off of Leipzig. Now, tons of credit has to go to Schwolo, the Freiburg keeper, who made 7 solid saves throughout the match, including denying Schick towards the end of it, and an early strike from Tyler Adams. Adams played fairly well for Leipzig, by the way, for all of you American Bundesliga watchers, or soon-to-be watchers out there. But it was Freiburg who took the lead in the first half in the 33rd minute, actually. Quite a fortunate goal and completely against the run of play in this match, as Griffo's corner came off of the back of Manuel Gulda's leg and bounced past Gulashi. That was Freiburg's only shot on target in the game. Yusuf Poulsen leveled for Leipzig, however, in the 77th minute as he rose extremely well to nod Campbell's cross in. They had plenty of opportunities to get the winner following that, but it was Freiburg who took the lead in the 92nd with their second shot on target. But no, that goal and the shot on target were called off due to offside. Close call, 1-1 the final. So Borussia Mönchengladbach, Marco Rose FC tried to take advantage of the drop points by Leipzig, playing away against a struggling Eintracht Frankfurt side, and the struggles continued for Frankfurt. The last time these two met, De Fohlen won 4-2 at home, and so playing away to Frankfurt would surely be a tougher prospect for Marco Rose and the boys, right? Well, my friends, Frankfurt probably had the worst return to the Bundesliga imaginable, as they embodied calamity and nerves from the get-go. 36 seconds into the match, after hoofing the ball forward, Neuhaus dished it wide to Plea in not the most dangerous position, but he still managed to beat Kevin Trapp. That was Borussia Mönchengladbach's second fastest goal in Bundesliga history, the fastest having been scored by Oscar Wendt in 2015, I believe. 6 minutes later, and they were on it again as Rami Bensebaini turned Frankfurt right back Almami Toure inside out, and his square ball through the six was met by Marcus Thuram for the tap-in. Yes, that is Lilian Thuram's son. 2-0, and in the second half, Bensebaini went from provider to scorer, as his somewhat poor penalty just slipped under Trapp to make it 3-0. Borussia Mönchengladbach. But Andre Silva would score later for Eintracht Frankfurt. He looked decent when he came on, but man, Adi Hutter is having a terrible time trying to recapture the form and performances from last year. They lost their front three, which is extremely debilitating. Nobody could deal with that very well, but even their midfield and their back line are looking very poor, which is concerning. 3-1 the final there for Borussia Mönchengladbach. Speaking of looking poor and not being in great form, Hoffenheim played at home against Hertha Berlin. Now, which team's poor form continued on past quarantine? Hertha, you'll remember, have had a bizarre season, while Hoffenheim have struggled to get along with life post-Nagelsmann, and Joelinton to a certain degree as well. Hertha, believe it or not, were the big winners on the day, slapping 3 past Hoffenheim. A 14-minute second half blitz saw Hertha score 3. 1 OG, a headed goal by Ibisevic thanks to some optional defending from Hoffenheim, and a stunning solo goal by Matheus Cunha. Was pretty shocking to see how poor they were, but you've got to give credit to Hertha and their new coach, Bruno Labbadia. That's a great start for him, considering the team and form that he had inherited and the strange circumstances that he has walked into. I mean, this guy was signed up as their full-time coach on April 9th, 2020. Labbadia's former team, VfL Wolfsburg, got an important 3 points in the race for the Europa League playoffs. They played away to Augsburg. Not so much a pushover, but not the best when it comes to defending either. 54 goals conceded, just one less than Bremen and Mainz in the race to become the worst defenders in the league. Kevin Mbabu looked fantastic down the right flank for Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg in general pretty much controlled the entirety of this match comfortably as the visitors, but the goal came thanks to a fantastic goal from the left flank, not Mbabu's right. Paulo Ottavio floated across from deep to the space between the penalty spot and the edge of the 18, and Renato Steffen drove a header past Andreas Lute. Great cross, great goal. Augsburg weren't dead yet, however, and in the 54th minute, Ten Jedvaj capped off a good spell for the hosts with a goal to equalize. A bit of a funny goal that bounced off the bar and then off the keeper, and I feel like off the bar 29 times, and just needed any part of the body to push it over the line in the end. They really should have taken the lead actually in the 66th, and they did do, but this time it was called back for offside. Florian Niederlechner having a great season, but was adjudged to have been offside as despite not touching the ball, he was blocking the view of the keeper. So 1-1 it remained until the 91st minute, when Daniel Ginczek got on the end of the aforementioned Kevin Mbabu's driven ball across the box. 2-1 Wolfsburg. Agony for Augsburg, 7 matches unbeaten for Wolfsburg. Berg. Paderborn and Fortuna Düsseldorf, 2 teams in the relegation fight, fought out to a 0-0 draw, while former basement boys FC Köln hosted Mainz, another team fighting for their lives in the Bundesliga. Köln looked great going forward, taking a 2-0 lead by the 53rd minute. Mark Uth scored in the 6th from the penalty spot. He's been involved in a goal for 8 consecutive matches, while Florian Kranz got on the end of a beautifully lofted ball to the back post by Dominic Drexler, not Draxler, and Kranz's header ripped past Florian Müller. That was a very satisfying goal to watch. So 2-0 Köln. Job done, right? No. Despite the score and despite Köln looking comfortable going forward, Mainz threatened in front of goal all match and simply looked extra rusty from a finishing point of view. But once Taiwo Iwoniwi finished off a great attacking move for Mainz to cut the deficit to 1, you felt as if the momentum had well and truly swung. Suddenly, the defending of Köln looked all the more suspect and flat-footed, the embodiment of that being Mainz's equalizer. Now, before you get up in arms, take nothing away from Pierre Koundé's mazy run and slotted finish past Timo Horn, but to say that the defending was lackadaisical would be pretty apt. Nobody stuck a foot in, making it all too easy for the young Cameroonian midfielder. That equalizer was huge for Mainz actually, as the result stayed at 2-2. On Sunday, the champions Bayern took on the new guys, Union Berlin, and while Bayern did indeed look a bit sloppy at times, they still managed to get the win. There was plenty of misplaced passes, plenty of sloppy touches, but they still did it. That said, it did take them 2 set pieces to score their goals, as Bayern were guilty of overplaying at times in Gnabry's case, or simply making stupid mistakes in front of goal in Koeman's case. Well, Müller did have a goal called back for being marginally offside, but other than that, it was a penalty from Lewandowski and a headed goal from a corner from Pavard that gave them the 2-0 win. And of course, no doubt the most anticipated match was the Revierderby between Dortmund and Schalke at an empty Westfalenstadion. In some respects, it's almost too bad that one of their first matches of the return of the German Bundesliga was a match that is typically one of the greatest exhibitions of fanfare, fans clashing in the stands, not physically. But hey man, we'll take it all the same, and I for one enjoyed it all the same. I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh man, but the quality was bad. Like, hey, at least we have football, you know? Enjoy it. In my Bundesliga preview, I questioned whether form would play any part in these matches after a 2-month break from football, and it sort of seemed to in many cases. And in this match, it was no exception. Wagner Schalke have been slumping for the majority of 2020 so far, and coming up against Dortmund, they continued to slump hard. 2 factors that I thought could have made a difference. Perhaps they would come back from the break refreshed, just like when I take a break from Rocket League, I always play above my ability following my return. Exact same scenario, absolutely no difference, completely translates to football perfectly. And two, would the home advantage be completely struck from the match, given that there would be no supporters in Dortmund's stadium? Well, both of those things didn't seem to affect the match at all, as Schalke never really looked a threat to Dortmund in this game. If you could, I mean, maybe in the second half a little bit, but still, not much. If you can exploit Dortmund's at times shaky defense that can be forced into errors, then you definitely have a chance of getting points off of them, but their defense looked good. And Schalke looked listless, while Dortmund's attack in transition was stunning to watch. I mean, the first goal was all Julian Brandt. In fact, he was man of the match for me. His flick-through ball for Hazard was poetry, while the ball from Hazard to Haaland was beautiful as well. But while you all know I'm obsessed with Haaland, it even says in my Twitter bio that I am president of the Haaland Stan Club, it almost looks like Brandt's coming out party for Dortmund. He picked out Rafa Guerreiro on the stroke of halftime to make it 2-0, and just after the half, he set up Thorgan Hazard to make it 3-0. Like I said on Twitter, Schalke's defense was still social distancing. Haaland played a well-placed slotted through pass to Guerreiro in the 63rd to make it 4-0 and finalized the destruction. Haaland, Guerreiro, and Brandt involved in 2 goals apiece, while Brandt can also take some credit for the first goal, as mentioned. That was also the first time Guerreiro has scored a brace in the Bundesliga. It was Haaland's 10th goal in 9 appearances, the first time Dortmund has kept 2 clean sheets against Schalke in a single season, as well as their 800th victory in the Bundesliga. It was a big day, and they'll be thrilled that they hit those milestones against their rivals. Now there's one more match from this match day to be played. Werder Bremen hosting Bayer Leverkusen, and then next weekend the top matches to watch out for are of course a Berlin derby between Hertha and Union on Friday, though it won't be the same without the fans. Then we have Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting Bayer Leverkusen, 2 very informed teams there. I don't know about Leverkusen yet as they haven't played. Wolfsburg on a 7-match unbeaten run are hosting Dortmund, and Bayern Munich hosts Eintracht Frankfurt. The only interesting thing about that match is the fact that the last time these 2 teams played, Frankfurt smashed Bayern 5-1 and cost Niko Kovac his job. Cool? Hey, guys, I missed you a ton, as I mentioned earlier, and it was a fun as hell to do a weekend recap again. Here's hoping we'll continue to get to do this, as Seifert said, Seifert being the head of the Bundesliga. They'll have to prove every single week that they deserve to continue to keep playing. So here's hoping they keep things under control so we can continue to enjoy it, and they can set an example for the rest of Europe. Guys, my name's Adrian, this is Rabona TV, I love ya, and I'll talk to you soon. Ciao!